Hi everyone. So today I'm going to talk about the process of unit planning, and I will start with the first question. How effective you will rate your initial planning of the unit? Well, I would say that the first one was quite okay because as I've been working in IB school for about 3 years now, we are kind of forced every 6 weeks to create our own unit, and to do so we need to unpack standards. We need to use backward design also. So I would say that I was quite familiar with it. However, one main problem is time is extremely time consuming. Um, as I say in my first the first video about it, when we were working on designing uh, an objective and everything about the lesson plan, it's very interesting for us teacher to understand the process. But at the same time, to write it is very much different than to do it. So you prefer to teach it than just spending your time to write it. So the second question: what led to revision in the lesson plans or unit plan? Um, I would say more you practice and more you become better at it. So you always find something to improve. All the practice that we had during this module, during this different unit, forced me to think few times about the content of my classes. It was especially the last one with multicultural aspect. It was very interesting. I had the chance to review what I've been done and to improve it. As you can see on the picture here, I changed some aspect of the class. I introduced new sports, and I let the student lead the class for few activities. So the third question: what insight did you gain from the lesson planning process and teaching a lesson? Well, I have to say I have to find a way to be faster at planning. First of all, because I spent so long trying to make something very clear and very square, and especially because after I change it too. Um, I might have to ask some help from my colleagues also, because the IB planning is something which is not natural, but you learn and you become better at it only by practice. I'm still a new teacher over there, so I might have to ask for more support. And otherwise, regarding the video of the class that I filmed, I think it was a success. I had the time to do all was planned, and also had good comments from Sean. So he was watching my video, and we had good conversation about it. I think I was quite happy with what happened. For sure, there is always something to improve, and it's because I was able to watch myself that I know that some stuff were wrong, like the way I talk sometimes. Like Sean said, also I don't encourage them too much on the video. Well, a lot of things have to be improved, but it was in general good. Fourth question: what part of the unit plan emerged as critical to its implementation? Well, I will say there is no one specific part. Is sorry, it's just everything. Sometimes, especially at the beginning of a teacher career, um, you want to overplan. You create plenty of activities just to make sure student will meet all the objectives. So you have so many activities, and that's not the smartest way, because if you follow your own rhythm, student will meet those criteria. But if they meet, it doesn't mean they understand it. So the teacher need to be aware of the student rhythm much more than his own rhythm, and you need to find um, where you both meet in order to fulfill those objectives. But it's not easy, and I still have to work on it for sure. So the final question: so how do you know if the student were capable of meeting the objectives? I will say, eh, well, it's simple. Everything is linked. You have objectives, you have activities, and you have assessment. If if the lesson is wisely planned, students should be capable of reaching the objectives. You teacher gonna use those assessments to see if the student understood well. If we're talking about project-based learning, if it's well understood, or it can be also skill-based. If the student can do it, if we're talking about PE, can you leave the ball? Can you do a free kick? And all that will come with practice. But if you don't plan enough practice, how do you want them to meet those objectives? So you really have to think the way you're gonna plan it. So to conclude, I will say that planning is definitely one of the most important part of the job. If you don't plan well, you can't teach well. That's for sure.